Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is AINA binti SIDEK.
My name is AIMIN binti SAMSURI.
My name is FATIHAH binti BAKAR.
My name is NURUL SABINA binti ADENAN.
Hi, my name is SITI ASMAH.
I'm going to introduce my group cases. Ladbroke and Co. is a plaintiff for these cases. Todd was a defendant for these cases. This is under Section 82, Bill of Exchange 1882. The plaintiff draw a check and sent it by the post. The letter was stolen and thief took it to the banker, which he used it for the purpose to open an account. He falsified the endorsement of the payee, and the thief was not introduced, also have no reference at all. The defendant opened the account, and at the demand of the criminal, the check was cleared on the next day. The plaintiff brought into an action urging the defendants for the conviction following the discovery of the fraud.
For the principal-agent relationship, the agent acts on behalf of the principal and should not have a conflict of interest in carrying out the act. Banking and finance company means a person holding both a license to carry on a banking business and a license to carry on a finance company business. Undue influence can be defined as an equitable doctrine that involves one person taking advantage of a position of power over another person. This inequity in power between the parties can vitiate one party's consent as they are unable to freely exercise their independent will.
And Ladbroke vs. Todd is related to statutory protection. It is where Section 55 BIA1195F, where the bank must act in good faith and without negligence, while they are collecting checks from customer. It is because before a bank opens an account to customer, the bank must obtain information about the customer. Firstly, customer indemnity, integrity, and reliability are ascertained. It is to ensure the correct person. Next, customer has legal capacity and authority to operate an account, whereby the underage are not allowed to operate the current account. Lastly, customer need to bring introducer. That's all. Thank you.
The right of customer in these cases is the right to have his deposit accepted by the bank. Bank deposit consists of money that is placed into the banking institution for customer safekeeping. The court in Ladbroke and Co. vs. Todd have noted that a bank can deposit checks to its customer while the customer has the right to withdraw the check. They use a post-dated check that is written by the drawer for a date in the future. With such a situation, if the customer knows his right to has the deposit by the bank, they have indeed provide his details to the bank. So, the money from his stolen check also can be withdrawn by someone else. It is because the bank will check his customer details first before give their permission to open the new account. Next, the duties of customer is the duties to exercise a reasonable care in drawing check. The customer duty is limited to duty to refrain from drafting a check in such a manner to facilitate a fraud or forgery. The check was robbed and the thief wants to open the account and withdraw all the money from the check. If the customer write the check with correctly, the thief cannot commit any fraud against to the bank because the check is belongs to someone else.
The banker are to own a check can case in the existence of a certain conditions. In other words, the banker authorities to own a check in a revoke in the case that specific condition are fulfilled. The banker should determine customer identity because have been many cases where dishonest person has succeeded in operating an account. Next, the banker should know customer integrity. The referee or person introducing the new customer should be in a position to identify him and to say whether he is the proper person to have bank account. Next, the right of the banker are to be identified follows in court when carrying out a service for a customer. The banker had acted in a good faith but was guilty of negligence is not taking reasonable precaution to safeguard the interests of the true owner of the cheque, and that therefore he had put himself outside the protection of Section 82 of the 1882 Act. The banker would have been entitled to the protection of the section as having received payment of a customer but have lost its owning to his want of due care.
The court held since the account had already been opened when the cheque was collected, payment had been received from a customer, grower thereupon sent another cheque to the real payee and took an assignment of his rights in the stolen cheque, and as holders of the cheque, or alternatively as assignees, brought an action against the bank to recover the proceeds collected by the bank as money had and received to their use.
An introducer to open an account. A customer has to practice due diligence in drawing cheque. Banker breach of the duty to the true owner of the cheque. Thought the banker had acted in a good faith, but he is guilty of the negligence of the failing to take appropriate care to safeguard the right of the true owner of the cheque. The banker failed to get a satisfactory introducer and reference.